Today we'll study Chapter 3 Ruling the Countryside, Part 4.
Hello students, in the previous video we discussed about niche cultivation of indigo. This was the system, and today we'll discuss about another system of indigo plantation, that was Rayoti system. Indigo on the land of ryots. Ryots means peasants. Under the Rayoti system, the planters force the ryots to sign a contract, an agreement, satta. At times they pressurize the village headman to sign the contract on behalf of the ryots. Means on behalf of the peasants of the village headman used to sign the agreement. So those who signed the contract got cash advances from the planters at low rates of interest to produce indigo. For the production of indigo or indigo plants, the peasants used to get the loan at low interest rates, right, from planters. But the loan committed the ryot to cultivating indigo on at least 25% of the total area under his holding. The planter provided the seed and drill, right? Seed and drill were provided by the planter, while the cultivators, what they used to do? Cultivators prepared the soil, sowed the seed and looked after the crop. In this way, indigo plants were grown by the farmers. After that, what was the problem in this system? When the crop was delivered to the planter after the harvest, clear, it was sent back to the planter after harvesting. A new loan was given to the ryot and the cycle started all over again. Peasants who were initially tempted by the loan soon realized how harsh the system was. It was very harsh system, and the price they got for the indigo they produced was very low. It means they used to get low prices for indigo, and indigo was cultivated after long process, and much hard work was required to grow these kinds of crops. So the cycle of loans never ended. There were other problems too. The planters usually insisted that indigo be cultivated on the best soils in which peasants prefer to cultivate rice or other food grains on that land. But indigo, moreover, had deep roots and it exhausted the soil rapidly. So it was another drawback of indigo plants. After an indigo harvest, the land could not be sown with rice. So because it used to lose its fertility, right? So it was not beneficial for the farmers, right? So now we'll see that how was indigo produced. Clear? This was the process of indigo production, and we'll discuss. First, you will have to understand these two steps. First step, in which we have discussed that how indigo plants were grown. Clear? After that, indigo plants were harvested. This crop was harvested. It was harvested by the peasants or the laborers. Clear? In India, the indigo plant was cut mostly by men. After harvesting, these crops or plants were carried to factories. Clear? They loaded in the carts and they brought from the fields to the factory. So these two processes, clear? And now we'll discuss in the factories how indigo was produced. Look carefully. This is the figure number 10, an indigo factory located near indigo fields. This is indigo factory, and in background you can see that indigo fields. Clear? Painting by William Simpson, 1863. You have to remember William Simpson, 1863. This is indigo factory, and in the background you can see the fields. So the indigo villages were usually around indigo factories owned by planters. Factories were owned by planters. Planters were which persons? Mostly among them were Britishers. After harvest, indigo plant was taken to vats in the indigo factory. These are the vats. These are the blocks or vats. You can see 3 or 4 vats were needed to manufacture the dye. Each vat had a separate function. Clear? Each vat had a separate function. The leaves stripped off the indigo plant were first soaked in warm water in a vat. This was the first process known as the fermenting or steeper vat for several hours. When the plants fermented, the liquid began to boil and bubble. Now the second step, rotten leaves were taken out and the liquid drained into another vat that was placed just below the first vat. In the second vat, known as the bitter vat, first vat was fermented or steeper vat and second was bitter vat. In this, the solution was continuously stirred and beaten with paddler, as you can see in this figure, wet beater. Clear? So in this vat it was beaten. When the liquid gradually turned green and then blue, lime water was added to the vat. Gradually the indigo separated out in flakes. A muddy sediment settled at the bottom of the vat and a clear liquid rose to the surface. The liquid was drained off and the sediment, the indigo pulp, transferred to another vat known as settling vat. It was third one, settling vat, and then pressed and dried for sale. You can see in this figure 12. Women usually carried the indigo plant to vats, figure 11, and 12 the vat beater. The indigo worker here is standing with the pedal. This is pedal, you can see, right? And used to stir solution in the vat. These workers had to remain in waist deep water for overnight for over 8 hours to beat the indigo solution. Especially this work was done nights also, during nights also. Figure 13, the indigo is ready for sale. Here you can see the last stage of the production workers stamping and cutting the indigo pulp that has been pressed and molded. In the background you can see a worker carrying away the blocks for drying. So in this way indigo was produced, and this was the entire process in which we discussed about the plantation to the factory, and in factory how it was produced. So in this video till now we have discussed these topics. You have to revise these topics. In the next video we'll discuss about the Blue Rebellion. Thank you. Have a nice day.